You're listening to Cottontail's podcast, part of the Silicon Valley Black Project, which produced the documentary film A Place at the Table about the Black pioneers of Silicon Valley. A Place at the Table can be viewed for rent on Vimeo.com on demand /A Place at the Table STEM. Through Cottontail's podcast, the Silicon Valley Black Project will continue to recognize the contributions made by African Americans. We will be featuring African American professionals, technologists in the fields of engineering, administration, and entrepreneurial pursuits from the past and present. Today, we're speaking with Rev Rand Dunbar, a self-proclaimed yoga instructor. He is recognized as the Chakra Doctor. So, how do you pronounce your name correctly? Chakra? How do you do that?
Chakra. I became Chakra Doctor because I invented my own yoga. I'm the only black male on the planet, current day alive right now, that can lay claim to the fact that he's invented his own genre of yoga. So, when a person practices yoga, they might practice hatha yoga or restorative yoga or this yoga or that yoga. And when they do that, they're practicing a yoga from somebody who is no longer with us. They're dead, they're gone, they're no longer with us. And most likely they weren't black. And so therefore, it is a great honor and pleasure to reintroduce meditation to my people, reintroduce yoga and chakras and energy work and healing to my people. And so I'm so good at it, so good at it, it's like I'm a doctor with it, right? And so I've healed over so many people that it's only befitting that I'm, that they put the two together, Chakra Doctor. This wasn't a path that I always dreamed of. This was basically a calling. You got to know the difference between your calling and your dream. Right? Your dream, that's what you want. Your calling, that's what God wants. And you got to make both of them work if you're going to be a self-fulfilled, realized person in this life. So Chakra Doctor, that's my calling, right? But, me doing all of the other things as Rev Rand Dunbar and all of these other things I'm doing, now that's, these are my passions, these are my hopes and dreams. But I became Chakra Doctor because I invented my own yoga, and that yoga was birthed through a life of hardship. And through that hardship, I was able to find a spiritual science, an aspect of our spirituality that was hidden from us, called the chakras. And so when you analyze ancient Africa, especially Kemet, the deity of the sun was called Ra. And Cha is child. So Chakra is child of Ra. And they told you in church, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And so therefore, nobody ever knew that light of mine that's shining on the inside was called chakras. I didn't know, I certainly didn't know it, but I remember the church song, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And I remember saying Jesus being the light of the world, step into the light, and the light this, and the light bringer, Lucifer. And I used to always hear all these things about light, right? And so when I finally came into the technology of the chakras, I said, oh, that's what religion was talking about. But religion couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together because religion does not fuse their beliefs with that which is outside of their religion. I read the Bible and it reminds me of my favorite Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings movie. For the average Christian who is walking around saying this is the word of God, they believe that God is somebody in the sky that they're going to die and go to heaven to when they die and leave out of this body. That's psychological programming at its finest. I remember when I used to pray, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The image that came to my mind was the white man on my grandmother's wall. That's called a fantasy, right? Hey, people can't get swallowed by a whale and live inside of the belly of the whale for 3 days, Jonah. People don't die and then stay in the tomb for 3 days and then rise on the third day. People don't get their ear cut off and another person able to put the ear back on without surgical protection. Okay. Talking donkeys, that was the one. First and foremost, it took place at a time, right? At a time where white people weren't even in power like they claim to be. white power isn't even 1,000 years old, and the Bible is over 3,000 years old. So, if you want to be technical, the stories of the Bible do not match any Roman timeline. Okay, the Romans the Roman version or the Roman interjection into Black spirituality called the Helios Biblos or the Babel, right? We we analyze and we find that it was edited by a bunch of delegates, white delegates. It was highly plagiarized and removed all of the sacred femininity from it. So even the goddesses don't even get mentioned in the Bible. You don't mention not one goddess in the Bible, and that's crazy, right? And then last but not least, the version of the Bible that really took America by storm and hook, line, and sinker was the King James version. Okay, and so to find out the history of this book and how it came to be just shows us how ignorant we are because they got people who walking around and think God actually penned this book with his finger and right. And so, they don't know the history behind the book. I ask Christians, how many times have you read the Bible from front to back, word for word? If you actually read the Bible from front to back, word for word, you will be a different Christian. One of my campaigns as a reverend is make Jesus black. Like the fact that when a Chinese man goes to church or goes to service, he is worshiping a God that looks like him. The Indian man worship a God that look like them. The Arabs worship gods that look like them. The Hispanics worship gods that look like them, and the whites worship gods that look like them. We are the only Negroes on the face of the planet that don't worship gods that look like us, and we wonder why God doesn't answer our prayers because you praying to the wrong God.
That is a different approach to looking at religion. Where did you get the ideas? Where did you get your religious grounding? Did someone inspire you to think this way?
Yeah, my mother had a big integral part in opening up this way of life for me. She set the cornerstone and foundation of what I consider to be my faith in spiritual and my faith in the invisible. She was a Pentecostal Christian and a hoodoo priestess at the same time. So I was the first person I ever seen unite paganism and religion and made it successfully work amongst both cultures. I I definitely say the cornerstone and foundation of it began with her and the things that I went through with her. And then it really spearheaded into overdrive when at 16 years old, she passed away on Christmas Day. After her passing, I went into what I like to call my hell cycle. So from the age of 16 all the way to the age of 33, um, I was living hell. I was the walking billboard child for a living hell. Poverty, homelessness, recidivism, drug abuse, drug selling, gang activity. Just a hurt child, just a hurt, lonely, only child projecting my course of hurt through my action. I wasn't listening. I was only hearing. I was only here listening. Listening means I hear it and then I go and act out what I hear. Hearing is I heard you, but that don't mean I got to do it. From 16 to 32, I was only hearing because the death of my mother really sent me into a place of darkness that I didn't even want to go to, but I went there simply because of grief. Grief and not knowing how to properly handle grief can take you to places where you never thought you want to go in life. Um, Being the only child of my mother and father and my mother gone, it was like half of me gone. I don't even, what do I do? Transmute. I didn't know how to heal. I didn't know how to forgive. I didn't know how to say, all chakras activate and activate my chakras. I didn't know how to sit down and and meditate. I didn't know, any of these practices every practice that I show you now, I never knew it when I was coming up because if I did, I would have already been where I'm at right now. Um, so, you know, going through all of those heartbreaks of trial and error, right? Trying to find the truth, because the Bible says, seek ye, ye shall find, knocking the door shall be open, asking it shall be given unto thee. So that's what I did. And man, I knocked on plenty of doors and found plenty of things, asked plenty of questions and got plenty of answers. And now here I am today with the culmination of all of those experiences wrapped up into one. When I was younger, I didn't know how to get back from that. So the only thing I tried, a few things that I tried to do one of those main things that I try to do is commit suicide. And this is how I know the spirit world is real, because I've died trying to go there and went there. All right. It's just no. Literally, they told me you got to go back. It's not your time. But I was trying. I was trying to like follow mom. Like mom died, I was trying to go follow her. And we're gonna still be a partner, still be a team, and have my buddy. I got my buddy. We're going in. So and so I intentionally overdosed on drugs. Took way more than I was supposed to take, and intentionally overdosed on drugs. The doctor told me, I don't know who's watching over you, but whoever it is, you better be thanking them, because you're lucky to be alive. With the amount of drugs that I overdosed intentionally on. And I was 17 when that happened. Right? I was 17 when that happened. 18, I attempted another suicide. When that one didn't work, I quit attempting suicide. Like, all right, let me try something different. The one thing that I, attribute, to my ascension is the actual hell that I went through because of the tragic death of my mother. And when I became enlightened, when I became what I like to call fully chakra activated, when I became fully aware of my divinity as God consciousness, infinite, immortal, all, walking into the flesh of a human being, experiencing this life as an aspect of my former self, I understood, wait a minute, she had to die. She had to pass away, because if she wouldn't have died, then I wouldn't have become my own self-taught master. She would still be my master. If she would have not gone, the hell that I went through, I would not have gone through to give this to you now, because she would have kept me in a bubble of heaven called motherly love. See? And so it was very, 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 very eye-opening experience to me becoming enlightened, because no longer did I see death as death anymore. No longer did no longer did I even see life as life anymore. Some people see life as this thing that we live and then you die and you don't know where you go. Some people see life as this hard thing, and we don't know why we're here. I no longer view life in that way. See, what it is, it is a learning experience. It's a game. It's a literal game. And y'all wonder why we like to play games so much, but we are made in the image of the Creator. I'm pretty sure the Creator loves to play games as well. That's where we get it from, football, basketball, games, board games. We learn everything through games. Even school, we learn it through games. Our ABCs was a game. Everything that is important in this world, whether it's relationships, love, work, whatever, we learned it through gaming. And when I became fully aware of my spiritual self, fully aware of who I am inside of this body, I began to finally play the game, and no longer being played by the game of life, no longer saying, woe is me, look at what life has done me. It went from, okay, blessed be, and now life is asking me, why are you doing this to me? Right? Life is saying, whoa, wait a minute, Chakra Doctor, I didn't tell you to do all that. Who told you to do all this in life? Now we're talking about taking control, stepping into your power, and taking back control. So it was a wonderful hellish experience that I made it through. And because I made it through that experience, I am now able to look back at that experience and say, okay, no, that was my basic training for my healing, for my mastery that I am right now. So, in order to become and like I told you before, don't show me no master in life if they can't give me, if they don't have a horror story, then they're not that much of a master.
So you are a self-taught master of yoga.
So my mother was a big fan. She always tell me, I can go through hell with you, but I can't go to hell for you. And that was to say, hey, man, even though we're here on earth together, that don't mean I'm here to live your life. You're here to live your own life. And not only are you here to live your own life, there are going to be certain parts of your own life that you go through that I'm not going to be able to help you.
Why do we see such a change in people after they've gone to prison? Why can't you figure out this stuff? Why can't you figure this out on the outside instead of going into the penal system?
Yeah. So I'm about to be 40 in April this year, and I realized that the answer to your question, I realized, who I was when I came home from prison, and the actual plan that I set for myself in prison, not only did I begin to accomplish it, I began to accomplish it at a rapid pace. And the people who've never been to jail in life, they don't even know what that luxury feels like because they don't even know that luxury exists. What? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to pay attention to only me and me and only me? Oh my God. Do you know what happens? So do you know what happens spiritually when that happens? Well, let's analyze. They say time is money, right? All right, so if time is money because there's only a few mediums that can actually pay it. Okay? That's why it's called pay attention. So human beings are one of the few beings that possess an attention span that is able to pay time with their attention. And remember, and energy is what? Currency. Currency is what? Dollars, cash, aka money. So people are the real money because people are the only ones who are capable of truly focusing and paying attention. And that takes time, my dear, which makes time the actual money. When you go into your job, you have to clock in. That clock represents the time you spent at the job. That check is a receipt for the time you spent at the job. What's the one thing that people always telling you? Man, I wish I had more time. Man, I ain't got enough time. Time. Nobody can get this grip on this beast, this demon we call time. When you analyze that there are only a few beings on the face of the planet Earth that are able to pay attention, then you'll understand why time is so precious and why it's the ultimate currency. Okay, so if you get paid by the hour and the hour determines your time spent on the job, then that means we have 24 hours that we serve every day on this job of life that we're at. Now, 8 of those hours you're going to be sleep, right? So now those 24 hours just turn into 16. The other 8 hours you're going to work, so those 16 hours just turn into 8. And then you have 8 hours to yourself. Now, if you got children, well, you're going to rob yourself of some more time. You have a husband, a wife, that's going to rob yourself of some more time. And if you have any recreational or leisurely friends, family, that's going to rob yourself of some more time. So roughly out of 24 hours, you probably have 1 to 2 hours to yourself at max, the most, every day. Now, you ready? Who wins the power of time exchange if 22 of your hours are given to everything outside of you and only 2 hours are given to you? That means everything is going to come before you in your world because this is what you spend your money on and your time is your money. In jail, I was able to spend all 24 hours of time, aka money, and invest that into me because I was in a jail cell by myself, all alone, nobody but me. And when it's you and nobody but you, you're gonna do 2 things. You're gonna rise or you're gonna fall. It's not gonna be an in between. There's no such. You're either gonna go crazy or you're gonna gain your sanity. Either or. You see? And so I was one of the few people who gained my sanity. And they tell you in law that prison is a place of rehabilitation. But they don't tell you that rehabilitation must come from you. Your time is your money. So I was able to spend my money on me for the first time, for those first times in life. And I can say that each time I went to prison, I got a little bit better in my character. I got a little bit better in my mind. I got a little bit better because recidivism, that is a hard revolving door to beat, especially when you live in impoverished neighborhoods where they patrol all the time. And then now you got an arrest record. And now they know who you are, so they know what to look for. They know how to harass you. They know that Black people are emotional, and we get in our emotions, and we get in our emotions. So a lot of times those police shootings you see are already be preordained, provoked, fraternal order of police rituals conducted on Black people because they know Black people can't control their emotions.
What inspires you now?
I get my main inspiration comes from nature, Mother Nature. My main inspiration comes from the resiliency of women. All of the different genius, multi-talented, multifaceted, women that I encounter. But my main inspiration comes from my wife and my daughter, right? They are my everyday training manual on how to be a better man, right? Um, and I like to think of my daughter as my reincarnated mother, right? My mother reincarnated, so now not only were you my mother your last life, but now you're my daughter, and I'm gonna correct look, all the generational curses. I'm gonna help us correct it right here, this life right here. And so, you know, going into California and being battled and challenged by the powers that be when I did go to California, that showed me, who I was. But beating them also showed me who I am. The great grand holy mother of all divinity, she told me inside of my spirit and inside of my being, you have to go to California. Why? I said, why? I said, why, great mother? She said, because this is the only place that has the most people that will flock to your calling. But when I went to California and started my corporation, my business, and Dr. Gandhi, my business partner, Dr. Rev Rand Gandhi, self-made millionaire from Mumbai, India. When he cut me that $150,000 check, that's when I knew. That's when I knew. Okay, this is a new me. The old me is gone. The new me is now arrived. I said, just ask him out of the blue. Just want to know, Dr. Gandhi, why did you invest six figures into me, man? What made you do that? What made you go into business with me out of all the people you could have been in business to? You could have bought you a few properties. You could have, because you do properties and real estate and stocks and bonds and all that stuff. So what made you decide to say, I'm going to cut a $150,000 check to this person, right? And a black man at that, right? In California, right? And he said, and I said, what was the number one thing that made you make that decision? And he said, you. I knew that when I invested my money, I wasn't investing my money in the business. I was investing my money in a person. And I know no matter what business we do, I know you. And no matter what we do, I know that you won't lose. So I wasn't investing in the business, I was investing in you. And so make your life your business and turn your business into your life, make them one synonymous. Stop saying this is business and this is personal. No, make your personal your business and make your business your personal.
Well, he redefined you and the work you do.
People around me consider it work, but I don't consider it work. I just consider this my everyday, regular Joe Blow Schmo, normal Norman life. I wake up and I do these things, and it's not because of some show, or it's not because of, it's an obligation. No, it's because I actually love to do this. And so with that love, I make sure that I project that love into my works. And so me and Dr. Gandhi, when I met this millionaire on Craigslist, man. Like, y'all don't understand. I met a millionaire. I met a multi-millionaire on Craigslist, man. I'm sleeping out of a car. I was sleeping out of my friend's car in Burbank, California, man. I had thousands of dollars, but I didn't want to spend it because California is expensive, and then I don't want to just be broke out of here, right? So I had to sleep out of my friend's car. And while I'm sleeping out of the car, I'm going on Craigslist. I'm going on Instagram. I'm going on Facebook. I'm going on these different platforms. And it amazed me how I run into them, because normally when you're doing Craigslist, each time you post, the previous post goes down further down the chain. This, for some crazy reason, I go on Craigslist and his post is at the top of the post, and he created his post 2 weeks ago. Like, it was a 2-week-old post, but his post is at the top like he created it an hour ago. And I called him, and it says, soulpreneurs wanted. Soulpreneurs. I said, a soulpreneur? What is that? I gotta call him. I think I'm a soulpreneur. And I called him and I asked him, what is a soulpreneur? He said, a soulpreneur is one who is an entrepreneur making a living off of healing and improving the human condition, the human soul, right? You're not just an entrepreneur and you have a business. You're an entrepreneur with a business that specializes in healing the soul, improving the soul, nurturing the soul, advancing the soul. That's when I knew, okay, this is a new me. The old me is gone. The new me is now arrived. Look at the physical representation of the spiritual practices that I've been putting forth. And that was the pivotal moment that let me know, okay, no more going back to the old you. Look at what you've accomplished as the new you in such a short while. in such a short while, man. Like I told people, I started this business. I started this business in 2016. It's only 2021. I've only been doing this business for 5 years. And look at the massive amount of growth that I started from scratch, like not a pot to piss in, not a window to throw it out of, sleeping out of my friend's car, chasing my dream.
What was your most rewarding experience?
Yes, the most rewarding experience has been and always will be FCA yoga. Uh, FCA yoga, when I feel my chakras and I feel all of the energy coursing through my body. FCA yoga, the name of my company is called My FCA Inc., literally. FCA stands for full chakra activation. So literally, the name of my corporation is named after the very exercise that completely revolutionized and changed my way of thinking, my way of feeling, my way of being, and my way of existing. And so without FCA, remember, and FCA yoga is the only, FCA yoga is my most prized possession, and it is my most affordable. Yes, the great mother made sure that when she gave me this of selflessness, and I presented it of selflessness. Even though people can pay me for a one-on-one session, guided meditation and all the access to it is free, and you can do it on your own without me ever having guidance. And that was the deal.
Selflessness. Interesting. Where can one find you if they're interested in following up on you and delving deeper into some of the concepts you brought up?
Yes, there's a website. So my website is chakradoctor.org. CHAKRADOCTOR.org. On there, you can find a list of the multiple things that I do. Most importantly, when you go there, you just click on the FCA Yoga tab. You click on the tab, hit the FCA Yoga button, and it will take you to the free guided meditation. Or you can click on the tab and pay for a one-on-one yoga free FCA yoga session with me, and I can guide you. But make no mistake, I started it off for free. The reason why my millionaire business partner invested into me because I was doing free work and free spiritual work, and that was one of the prerequisites that me and him became business partners on. Hey, we're not doing this of ourselves. We're doing this for our prospective people. He's an Indian. He wanted to save Indian people. I'm Black, and I want to save Black people. So an Indian and a Black man hooked up together. An African-American Black man and an Indian from Mumbai, India, open a corporation together.
Yeah, no. So I have. So my church right now is online, right? And I do Zooms and live streams, and I'm about to take my house and convert it, a part of the house, and big part of the house into the church, and then start from there. But no, I have my YouTube channel, right? And my YouTube channel is my church. Is where I reach the masses. It's starting to grow organically in a nice rapid number. I got like 4,000 and something subscribers right now. So the YouTube channel, just go to Chakra Doctor TV, either or CDTV or Chakra Doctor TV. They both come up when you put them in the search bar. And this is where I hold the bulk of my discussions. The discussion that I'm talking to you about, I go full-fledged with it on my channel.
Thank you, Reverend, for sharing your perspective. Your path to internal peace and self-actualization has been a unique one. We wish you success in your endeavors and thank you again for giving us your precious time. As you said, time is money. And thank you for listening.